A solo motorcycle tour through Nepal. Welcome to my travel blog. I started my journey in Kolkata, then went to Murshidabad, Darjeeling and Sikkim, and then to Nepal for about 2 weeks. To reach Kathmandu, I took the BP highway or Japan road from Bardibas, after traveling one day on the east-west highway. This is one of the best roads for a motorcycle ride in Nepal. So I divided this entire day's journey into 3 parts, and this is where it all started, the Bardibas town, that lies on the east-west highway. From there you take a right if you are coming from the east, and then goes through one of the beautiful mountainous roads. This road goes through a major town called Sindhuli, after which the beauty of Nepal starts. And this is just a glimpse of that ride. If you want to see this part of my ride, go to my previous vlog. This was an absolutely beautiful ride. You have to climb a mountain, and I'm just giving a link of my previous vlog just about here. During this ride I stopped at several places, and one main stopping point is when you reach a plateau, and that place is called the Nepal-Japan Token of Love. This is my ride here, and just on the side on the top you can see an Italian bike. Well, just a glimpse of it, because I lost the pictures of that bike somewhere. That was a guy from Nepal taking the delivery of that foreign bike from somewhere in India and riding from West Bengal, I think, towards Kathmandu. Okay, so this is the third part of a single day's journey. And this place is about 120 kilometers from Bardibas, the initial starting point of that day's journey. I normally don't do this. Usually I pack about 3 or 4 days journey into one travel vlog or one video. But this single day's journey, it's only about 200 kilometers from my starting point Bardibas to reach Kathmandu. I divided into 3 video segments because I just didn't want to omit any video segment from this ride. You can probably see it now. Look at these beautiful places. During that 200 kilometer ride, I didn't get much chance to switch off my GoPro because the road and its surroundings were very beautiful. Let me say it once again, even though I have repeated it in my previous vlogs. The name of this road is BP Highway, in commemoration of BP Koirala, one of the greatest leaders in Nepal. It is also popularly called the Japan Highway because the Japanese government gave a financial grant to build this road. Another name of this road is, I think, Banepa-Bardibas Highway. It starts from Bardibas on the east-west highway and ends somewhere in Banepa, I think a place very near to Kathmandu. No, in fact it is about 20 kilometers from Kathmandu. So that is the history of this road, which might not interest you. But the geography of this should, because it is going through such beautiful places. So when you come along this road, you initially get a major town called Sindhuli, which is also having historical significance, I think, because the Gorkha forces in the 17th century defeated the British Indian Army at that place. So it's a tourist location, and I had given detailed account of this in my first vlog, the first part of this journey, and I will just give a link to that vlog just about here. Then most part of the journey is through mountain ridges, that is between 2 mountains, and on the one side you have a big river, the Koshi River, and that is the one flowing below. Or rather, this is one of the tributaries of that main Koshi River. So for about 40 kilometers during this entire 200 kilometers, you have this river on one side. During my first day in Nepal, I had passed this Koshi River on the east-west highway, and at that place this river was huge. The breadth of that river, or the width of that river at that place, was about 1 kilometer. The bridge across that river was 1 kilometer. It was in fact a barrage, a Koshi barrage, some kind of a dam to restrict the flow of water from the river, and it was very near to the Indian border, very close to Bihar. That barrage in fact is one of the main highlights of my first day's ride, and I will give a link to that vlog just about here. Now this journey, which is only like about 200 kilometers, I took about 12 hours to complete it. Well, one reason of course is it is mountainous. You have to climb up, you have to climb down, curving roads, twisting roads, guard roads. All those things reduces your speed. You cannot go at 80 kilometers an hour. But still, 200 kilometers in 12 hours would mean that I did somewhere like 20 kilometers an hour. The main reason was that I stopped at a number of places to take in the views. I have a number of photographs of that ride, but I'm not putting all those things here. Just the ones that I've captured during the ride. Like this one, the hanging bridge. And there are a number of these hanging bridges on this road. I mean on the river. And I think most of these hanging bridges were recently built because they were all in good condition. It was not like very old bridges. And I think they were built as a part of this road construction itself. This road is, in fact, is very recent, very new. The entire stretch was completed only about 2 years back, I think, and that could be one reason why it is in very good condition. The other reason could be the new technologies introduced by Japan in building this road. Now, since this is a new road with most of its parts built from scratch, well, what I mean is a survey was conducted, then land was acquired, and the road was built where there was none previously. Most parts of this road doesn't have much populated segments. So there are very few towns and they are very far between. The other kinds of infrastructure like hotels, restaurants, restrooms and all those things are still being built. So be careful if you are taking this road for your journey, because the frequency of petrol pumps are less as the frequency of the towns are less. Same is the case with restaurants and even small shops. But then there is an advantage to this. The traffic is less. In fact, in some of the places, non-existent. At some places, you don't get to see people, vehicles, cars, two-wheelers, cycles for several kilometers. So if you get a breakdown or something like a puncture, you are on your own. Because I think there are no workshops, especially for larger vehicles like Enfield Bullets. Just see the right side, there is something going on over there. It's not a landslide. I think they are building a road over there. So developments are coming to these places, but then it is also destroying the natural beauty of these places. Anyway, let's just have a look at the map, the road we are taking, the places. This is the road I am taking. This is the Japan Highway, the BP Koirala Highway, and most of it is constructed through the mountain ridges. On one side you have one of the tributaries of Koshi River. And on the map at least this place seems to have restaurants, resorts and all that. But I didn't see many of them on my ride. These places, because it is on the side of the river and it is also on the mountain ridges, some kind of a plateau, there is more population along the sides of this river. And now this is another place for a great view. It is somewhere over here on this map. But just about here we say goodbye to the river. And this is what I said before, big hanging bridges. And it is not so small. Looks like about 300 meters. There are several of those on this road, but this was the first one I saw like parallel to the road, like very close to the road. The other ones were like on the ridges, quite far away from this road. And here what I think is the traditional Nepali houses built with mud bricks. Well, that's what I think. I think they are not built with cement and all that. Although the new constructions, the newly getting built houses and other buildings are with modern technology, cement, concrete. And in this place we no longer have the river to give us the company. And if you observe closely, there is a change in the geography. The landscape looks the same, hills on both sides. But the rock structure has changed, I think, to more like graphite or slate-like rocks. Well, I'm not a geologist, but there really were some changes. I'm not sure if you can see it very clearly. What I'm trying to say is there are different geographical structures along this road. A few kilometers back, in fact, in the start of this video, the earth was red in color. So there are a lot of things to see on this road if you watch closely, and this is one of them. I was taking a break from the ride and glanced down to the river to see this. This is a small river and a small bridge across it. Not much water in this one. This one should be going to join the Koshi River. Okay, the time is about 3 or 4 o'clock I think, and from here there is still about 60 more kilometers to go. I was getting tired. Seems like I'm getting more into populated areas, and the landscape has also changed. It is not as beautiful as the initial parts of my journey. And one reason is because I'm getting into more populated parts of Nepal. Populated in the sense it is not virgin forest as before. The mountains on both sides are not as high as before. But there are still few small rivers on the side. And I think this is the place called Banepa. and from here the traffic increases, and I'm going much more slowly than before. There is still about 40 odd kilometers from here to Kathmandu, and the time I think was about 5 o'clock. If you are taking this road, you go through a place called Bhaktapur, and that is also one of the main tourist places. It is very close to Kathmandu. It is about 10 kilometers from Kathmandu, and it is on this road. The main tourist place in Kathmandu is its Darbar Square. That is the place of the old royal palace and the other temples and all that. Similar historical places are there in Bhaktapur as well. So there is a Darbar Square in Bhaktapur, one of the old royal palace over there, and we are nearing that place. But here, look to your left, Tuborg. I have said this before, but once again, for interested people, let me say it once again. Liquor and alcohol, I think, are freely available throughout Nepal. So you can see this board, and this is the main board you can see, Tuborg. There is no other brand. In fact, Kingfisher and all other brands, I don't think they are very much popular there. Well, they probably are available. I didn't inquire about it, and I was not very interested in that. But I did see beer and even hard liquor in one of the smallest shops on the roads. So another attraction for the interested people. Now this is Bhaktapur. It is on the outskirts of the main Kathmandu city. It is about 10 kilometers from Kathmandu. And from here the traffic increases, and there are not many beautiful places as before. It is going to be traffic all the way. So I'm not going to put all the rest of the videos till Kathmandu. Besides, it was getting night already, and nothing but darkness to see even if I put the videos. Right, so I have reached Kathmandu, and you are seeing a preview of my next vlog, which is the tour of Kathmandu city. I hope you enjoyed this one. If so, do like the video and share it with your friends, and also subscribe to my channel to see my upcoming vlogs. The next is going to be Kathmandu tour, and the link for that video is just about here.